Flight attendants have spent thousands of hours watching passengers try and fail to sleep on planes and figuring out how to sleep in the same conditions themselves during crew rest periods. What they've learned comes from direct observation at a scale no individual traveler ever accumulates. These aren't generic tips. This is what people who actually work in the cabin do. Like and subscribe before we start. Share this before someone's next long flight, and let's get straight into it. 1. The cabin temperature drop is your sleep signal flight. Attendants know that cabin temperature is actively lowered when the lights dim on overnight routes. This is deliberate. Cooler temperatures signal the body that it's time to sleep. The passengers who benefit most are the ones who already have a blanket ready when this happens, rather than fumbling for one after the transition. Request a blanket at the start of the flight, not during the sleep window. And when the lights dim, stop watching high-stimulation content immediately. Crew members observe that passengers still watching loud films when the cabin quiets almost never fall asleep in the first hour, while those who shifted to something calm 20 minutes earlier often are. 2. The seat position that actually works. Passengers who try to sleep fully upright in economy almost never actually sleep. The head falls forward, the neck muscles engage to catch it, and the micro-waking cycle repeats throughout. The position that works is a modest recline, 15 to 20 degrees, combined with a neck pillow positioned at the side of the neck rather than behind it. Most passengers get this wrong. A U-shaped pillow placed behind the neck does almost nothing to stop the head falling sideways when you relax. Rotating it so one side sits against the cheek creates a wall that stops the fall. For window seat travelers, a folded jacket between the shoulder and the fuselage wall adds a soft contact point that lets the upper body fully relax into a supported lean. 3. What flight attendants eat and drink before rest periods. Crew members avoid large, heavy meals in the 2 hours before a planned rest period. Digestion elevates core body temperature and heart rate in ways that suppress sleep onset. On the drink side, they avoid alcohol, which surprises passengers who assume a drink helps. Alcohol accelerates sleep onset, but degrades sleep quality significantly, reducing deep and REM stages. Passengers who drink 2 glasses of wine often wake 2 to 3 hours later, dehydrated and unable to return to sleep. What crew members reach for instead is water, sometimes with an electrolyte supplement. Dehydration in the dry cabin air genuinely disrupts sleep quality, and a full glass of water 30 minutes before the sleep window is their consistent preparation habit. 4. The sensory blackout. 2 items used correctly. Flight attendants are unanimous here. The passengers who sleep best almost always have both a proper sleep mask and earplugs, or noise-canceling headphones. Light and noise are the 2 biggest barriers to in-flight sleep, and both are removable. The mask quality distinction crew members emphasize is the contour. A flat mask presses against eyelids and lets light in from the sides. A contoured mask with raised eye cups creates complete blackout and blocks peripheral light from other screens and the galley glow. Combined with noise cancellation or earplugs, the nervous system stops processing the cabin environment as information it needs to respond to, and finally gives sleep permission to arrive. These 2 items together weigh almost nothing and cost far less than a single business class upgrade, yet produce a measurably closer approximation of the conditions that make business class sleep possible. 5. Melatonin timing, earlier than you think. Flight attendants who use melatonin take it 45 to 60 minutes before the intended sleep window, not the 30 minutes most packaging suggests. They also use a lower dose than most pharmacy products sell. Research consistently shows that 0.5 milligrams to 1 milligram is as effective or more effective than higher doses for sleep onset, with fewer side effects on waking. Taking it while still watching a screen removes most of the benefit. The full protocol is lower dose taken early, then mask on, earplugs in, ambient content or silence, and around 45 minutes of genuine receptivity. Melatonin creates the window. Everything else still has to cooperate. 6. The pre-sleep clothing change. Passengers who change into comfortable clothing before the sleep window are significantly more likely to sleep than those who try in jeans or anything with a restrictive waistband. Physical discomfort is a constant, low-level sensory irritant that competes with sleep onset throughout the rest period. The crew recommendation is compression leggings, a soft t-shirt, and warm socks. Compression leggings specifically serve double duty, circulatory support, and sleeping comfort in one item. Many flight attendants wear exactly this combination for their own rest periods. The airplane lavatory takes under 2 minutes to change in, and the improvement in sleep conditions lasts the remaining hours of the flight. Pack the sleep outfit in your seat pocket bag rather than the overhead bin so it is accessible without standing up and disturbing a seatmate. 7. The galley timing trick. After meal service and the first cabin check, galley activity drops to near zero for 2 to 3 hours during the deep sleep window. Passengers near the galley often experience more quiet than they feared, not less. The bigger insight is timing requests. Ask for water, a blanket, or anything you need immediately after meal service ends, before the crew settles into their rest pattern. Crew members universally confirm that passengers are welcome to approach the galley quietly during the sleep window to request water or an extra blanket without waiting for a service pass. Knowing this removes the hesitation that leads travelers to go thirsty or cold rather than make a request they assume is an imposition. 8. The breathing technique crew members use. Several long-haul flight attendants mention deliberate breathing to accelerate sleep onset during rest periods. The version that works in a cabin context: inhale for 4 counts, then exhale slowly for 6 to 8 counts. Repeat 5 to 10 times. The extended exhale activates the parasympathetic nervous system, slowing heart rate and lowering the physical arousal that prevents sleep in an unfamiliar environment. Most people breathe with a short exhale when anxious or alert, which maintains alertness. Reversing that ratio signals the nervous system that nothing requires its attention. Combined with sensory blackout and a supported position, this is one of the fastest ways to give sleep actual permission to arrive. 9. What not to do in the hour before the sleep window. The 3 most consistent mistakes crew members observe: a bright screen at full brightness on high stimulation content, a large meal in the hour before lights dim, and giving up too quickly when sleep doesn't arrive in the first 20 minutes. Blue light delays melatonin release. Heavy digestion keeps the body alert. And premature surrender back to a screen eliminates the best sleep opportunity of the flight. Sleep onset in an unfamiliar environment takes longer than at home, often 15 to 30 minutes, even under good conditions. That window in the dark is not failure. It is the process working exactly as it should, and the only way through it is to stay with it rather than reaching back for the screen. 10. When sleep doesn't come, the right recovery strategy. Flight attendants acknowledge honestly that some flights simply don't produce good sleep regardless of preparation. Their recommendation for those situations: prioritize rest over sleep. Lying still in the dark, in a supported position with sensory input removed, produces meaningful physical recovery even without true sleep. The body repairs, the heart rate lowers, and accumulated fatigue is partially offset. For post-flight recovery, crew members typically stay awake until a reasonable local bedtime on arrival day rather than napping immediately, then sleep a full night. Light exposure to natural sunlight on that first afternoon helps reset the body clock faster than resting indoors. That single long sleep resets the circadian clock far more effectively than a daytime nap, and sets up the following days of travel in a way a nap simply cannot. 10 tricks from people who manage sleep in the cabin as part of their professional lives. None of these require a business class ticket or any expensive equipment. The pattern across all of them is the same. It's a system, not a single tip. And it works best when several of these are used together. A blanket requested early, sensory blackout done right, a position that's genuinely supported, water instead of wine, calm content before the lights dim. Apply 3 or 4 of these on your next long-haul flight, and it will feel different. If this gave you a better plan, hit the like button, subscribe for practical travel content every week, and share this with someone who always says they can't sleep on planes. We will see you in the next one.